welcome to another Stamping Sunday with One Fat Chick Designs. My name is Trisha Robertson, and this week I'd like to show you part one of a two-part series, and it's focusing on Mother's Day, and I'm going to have the card next week. This is my project that I'm sending out, and we're going to do, for those that are local, we're going to do at our next WOW night at the Citizen Center. Okay, so as you can see, I've used the Jars of Love, and I'm going to show you everything step by step. I'm going to do stamping next week. I'll do a little bit this week, but focus more next week. This time is more about how do we decide where we kind of place everything and how it goes together. Plus a little bit of tips and tricks on how to make it look more like water and how we glimmer, etc. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move this over to the side. And now I'm going to bring in my pieces. So here are the pieces that I used to make it. This is the 12 by 12 Regal Series paper. For my class, I'm going to be using the 2015-2017 In Color Designer Series paper, and then I'm going to buy the cardstock and let everybody decide on which they want, since it's a personalized gift. Speaking of that paper, this is the Designer Series paper from that big pack. And I cut this at 3 inches by 11 inches so that you could get the border on the outside. I cut a piece of vellum at 2.5 by 11, and I've used the sweater embossing folder to make this wonderful pattern, and I'll show you how all this is going to lay down. Then I used the silver paper, and I used it at 1/2 inch by 11. And this is going to make the centerpiece. Then I cut my pieces of Whisper White at 4.5 by 4.5 because I ordered these pictures for a different project I'm going to be doing. And these were some extras you can buy them from Snapfish at 4 by 4. Okay, so let's get started on how we put everything together. Okay, so now I've laid all my pieces down, and I used the multi-glue to adhere everything down. That gave me some room to move. And I made my pictures a complete unit. Now last time when I did this, I had my oval to the side. Well, I think that I would like to change it up a bit, especially if I'm going to use it as a two-piece layout. So I'm going to I want to move the interest of my jars. So this time I'm going to lay these down so that I can put my ovals in the center. So I'm going to lay these down just like this. And then my ovals are going to be prepared for right there. So I've laid everything down. I used dimensionals under this. So this is going to be the base for our layout. So I'm going to move this to the side so I can show you how we put the pieces together. Okay, so here is our journaling block. And then here are all of our pieces. I went ahead and cut all these out so they'd be ready to go. Okay, so this is shimmery white, and I just used a bag because I want it to be more water-like. The window sheets are very stern, and this has more flexibility in it. So that's going to go over the top, and then I've done the jar like this so that I can see those stems and it really looks like a vase. And then I've already sponged the middle jar. And then these are all my pieces. I'm just going to move these over to the side for 1 second and move my container out of the way. Okay, so I've cut just the tiniest piece of sponge off, and I've used Soft Sky, and I'm going to bring the water in. Now, one thing to remember on the water for the bigger jar, and the mistake I made in my last one, is that we want it to cover the stems. And if you want to move your stems around, you need to make sure your jar is half full. I'm a half full kind of girl. Okay, so I'm going to add just using the ink pad and just blending in the Soft Sky, as dark as you want your water to be. Okay, I'm going to do that on the big piece, and I'm going to do it on the small piece. But on the small piece, I really just want it to have the illusion of water, not a bunch of it. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to do my stamping using basic gray. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on my journal piece. And I always like to make sure I've got it right. Okay. And because we're going sideways this time, I'm going to put it over to the side so I have just enough room to write on here. And I'm going to write Frank and Faith 16. So that when you look at this in generations to come, you'll know who and when. And then my middle jar is going to get to let us know that the thought of this is love. And I went with gray instead of black because I wanted to tone it down just a hair. Okay. And once that dries, I'm going to put a little bit of Weka Stella. Okay. So just so you know, the colors I used on the flowers and the stem were Flirty Flamingo and Sweet Sugar Plum. And then I went in with the stems with Mint Macaron because it matches with my base pieces. So now we're going to start to put together our pieces so that we can adhere it to our base. What I did was put adhesive on the edges of the jar and then glued down my lunch baggie. And again, I used this because I wanted it to be more of a looser effect. And then I used my strip foam adhesive for the sides of this because it fit perfectly. So I put my pieces together. I popped up the lid and I put the backer on with the foam. You can see the foam adhesive. And I've added my little hearts. And one thing I wanted to mention here is I've used the dies for the Jars of Love set. And here they are. But I love these little hearts and I have a confession to make. I watched Dawn's Stampin' Thoughts and she showed the Easter egg dies. And I thought all these came out in one piece. And of course, if I would have paid attention, they cut all of these little hearts. And I just thought that was so amazing. So I was able to do all these teeny tiny little hearts in one strip. And it came out neat and easy. And I just really loved it. So I thought I'd share that with you. So that was the Jars of Love. And while I'm showing you here, here's the sweater weather. And it's one of those really deep impression ones. I loved the sweater folder. And then the two stamp sets I used was, I used my Valentine's set for the love, Hello Love. Just to show you that you can use a stamp set outside of Valentine's Day or the holiday that it's used for. And then of course I used Jars of Love. And I wasn't going to buy this set, but when I found out it's carrying over to the new catalog, I went ahead and bought it because I thought there was a couple cute things. And then as I was using it, I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't I buy this sooner? So I advise you to buy this one. I think that there are going to be so many things that you can use it for. I've seen the lightning bugs. I've seen the fishy in a little fish. I mean, there's so many cute things. And last year we had a Halloween. And so I can't wait to see in the holiday occasions catalog what they're going to come up with for this set because I think they are. Anyway, don't hold me to it, but that's my theory. Okay, so now we've put these little pieces together. I went ahead and put the flowers together, and I just wanted to show you something here. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right here on this side of the stem. And the reason for that is I didn't put any foam adhesive right there so that I could just stick my flowers in the pot. So it stuck right to it. And then I'm going to stick my other big flower. And this is really just a matter of course it came off, a matter of preference. I'm going to put this kind of, oops, right there. And then I'm going to, I've put some dimensional on the back of two of these. And then we're just going to place it on there. Maybe a little one. You can just mess with it however you like it. Okay. my jar done, and it's 3-dimensional, and I've done all my pieces. So I'm going to put this all back into my cup here to use for later. I use these little cups. I get them at Perfect Plum. And move them off to the side. And I'm going to add my Week of Stella to my love. Because who doesn't love glitter and sparkle? And you're lucky I didn't glitter everything. Because I love glitter a lot. Okay. So now it's just left for me to put my pieces together. Okay. So like I said in my last one, and I'll try to show you, I wanted to do this a little bit different so that I didn't have 2 pages if I put them together. Like look exactly the same. I want it to kind of go together as a 2-page layout. And so I'll have a picture at the very end of this video of them side by side so you could see how well they'll lay out into an album. Okay, so now I have these free floating to kind of just decide how I want it. I could do it like this. I could do 3 in a row again. I could do it opposite of the last time, which is what I think I'm going to do. I could bring it to the left. You know, you get the idea. So when it laid out as 2 pieces. And I think for me and my brain and my need for OCD issues, I'm going to lay it out so that when you see the 2-piece layout, it goes together. Now, for this video purpose, I've put the Hello Love again. I really would have chosen something different because I am doing a 2-page layout. If I was doing a 2-page layout, but I'm actually putting these in shadow boxes. So, I'm going to not do it that way. I'm okay with the Hello Love. Otherwise I would probably just write a journal, like what was happening that day, why they're smiling, why she's hugging, where we're at. We're obviously out. You can see little cards in the background here. So anyway, I'm going to lay these down. And I think I decided I liked this better. I like the little love. And I already have dimension on these pieces, so I don't want to go too much. And now I have another shadow box piece that would be simply amazing. So next week I'm going to show you, this is my scrapbook page piece. I'm going to show you a picture at the end of this of the 2 of them together, remembering that we wouldn't put anything in this one if it was a 2-page layout, and maybe this would go to the side. Next week I'm going to show you a card using the exact same elements and how we're going to make it a card to go with this so it's the perfect combination for a gift. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave comments below. Or you can email me at onefatchickdesign@gmail.com to be put on my newsletter, or go to my blog and I have the video link there. And also you can sign up for the newsletter. If you live in my area, you can come out once a month. I do a WOW night, which is work on whatever, at the King George Citizen Center. So let me know what you think, and I hope you have a great Sunday. Thanks.